Okay, the invented histories of domestic birds. 1. In the fiction of this, we're at her place, my sister's, a trailer outside Boulder where she has a perfect square of backyard, where the air is dry, the sky correct. Only people who've loved the West and lived elsewhere know about the incorrect sky. Webster's might define it as prominent in places such as Pennsylvania, Arkansas, Ohio. God save us from the Pennsylvania sky, says Webster's. See also hazy. See also the irritation of clouds that provide no rain, or if rain, the no attendant relief from the heat. Under the incorrect sky, rain provides only mosquito infestation, sweaty foreheads, fat ticks, the sucking pole, the humid thick. My sister and I are thick with apology. We overflow our do you remembers. To essay this, to attempt, to try. My sister is calling because it's 2016 and we're deep into the summer of guns. My sister is calling because a nice white woman has pulled a gun on my nephew and his brother in a nice suburb on a nice white hot June day. Listen. This is not going to be the kind of story in which someone narrates from a distance the experience of a young man America has decided is Black. A young man with a gun pointed toward him where his body is used to insert narrative tension into what is essentially another person's story. This is not that kind of story. This young man is my family. America may have decided my nephew is Black and I'm white, but we're both Métis. This suburb may be the most American of all territories, but it was once the land of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people, many of whom still live in the area. More than 100,000 people who identify as tribal people live in Colorado today. Almost half live in urban areas. To call my nephew Black, to call me white, is semi-accurate at the level of phenotype. To call him Black, to call me white, is the most American form of erasure. So this hot summer day, we're both Métis in this, our America, but I know the difference in our lived worlds. I walk around each day, including this one, in my white privilege raincoat. It doesn't matter much that the sleeves are too short, the shoulders tight. I know I'm wearing it. I know its uses and its limitations. I know, for example, the intricacies of how it fits most poorly at the cocktail party when white people want to talk to me about Black people, about Native people, about. It does not protect against the white people who get between a cocktail and me. But this coat, at a traffic stop, its efficacy rate is almost 100%. My nephew and his half-brother this day in the suburb, the very American suburb, are wearing no such coats. And though this will reduce the thread of narrative tension, so it sags a little maybe like power lines after a minor storm, so that even the invented birds go elsewhere to roost, I'm telling you, this is a narrative in which all of us get to live. 2. In our childhood, my sisters and mine, our father kept his guns locked on a high shelf. They came down for the trap line in case some caught thing needed to be shot. They came down for shooting birds and sometimes deer and sometimes rabbit or squirrel. They came down to be cleaned sometimes after he hit our mother or one of us. Here is the thing about rabbit or squirrel cooked without love, cooked out of necessity, cooked with embarrassment over the necessity. It's dry, stringy, horrible. Cooked with love, say, at a grandparent's house by someone other than a mother, it tastes like anything else. It's food like any other. Here is the thing about the sky over the trap line. Always blue over white, always the sharp blue of winter, the coldest sky. Here is the thing about the myth of our mother and one of us. There is no one of us. I'm equivocating, choosing the plural over the singular, all the stall tactics, all the cover. Here is the thing about guns in a house like ours. Locked away or otherwise, there's only one person who really knows how to shoot. 3. My sister is calling because she has a story, but also because she wants mine. Something past or present that is funny, maybe, if possible, from someone who knows her, who will joke away the hurt. She does not often come to me in this way. Childhood prohibits this closeness, maybe. I was the one who put my body in between. She was the one who shut herself in her room. But the narrative is never that simple, of course. No narrative is ever that simple. My sister was born before I was, and she was born premature, less than 4 pounds. The story my father tells is one of going home from the hospital, excuse me, in Minneapolis to change his clothes and returning to find my sister gone from her spot in the ICU window. All the other tiny sick babies lined up in their pastel blankets under the bright lights, but her. It stopped my heart, he says. It stopped my heart. My father is not prone to such speech, and the look he gets on his face is even more of a rare sighting. Like love and fear in equal measure, given equal weight. Like the wings of a crane, the push and pull before the flight into sky. When my father and I talk in that 2016 Summer of Guns, he wants to know what my yard is doing. I live in Arkansas in the humid thick. The yard that summer is always doing things, inexplicable things, making food and drawing in creatures and ticks. Oh God, the ticks, a horror movie amount. He is especially interested in the birds who come to my feeder, what kinds and when and what do I feed them. The truth of the bird feeder is that it's not mine, is ours, or more particularly is my then husband's. I know less than I probably should about birds. In the end, in the near future, I will learn I also know less than I probably should about husbands, about marriage, about permanency. As for these summer birds, they fly or they don't, are colorful or dull. To illustrate further, I give the example of the hummingbirds. I know them to be small and lovely creatures, and I overhear my then husband one day talking about them with my daughter, and I say, "Where are they?" I say, "I've never seen them." I'm squinting through the patio double doors at the large black feeder where other large birds congregate. At their feeder, my then husband says. He says this to me like he says a good many things, like this is a thing about which I would know if I would bother. Where, I say? I'm not at all sure now that I care very much about hummingbirds after all. This is getting a little boring maybe, or he and our daughter are making things up just to tease me, or who knows. Birds perhaps remain unknowable. He leaves his desk, puts down his elaborate sandwich, and stands behind me at the double doors. He turns my shoulders, so I'm facing off at a right angle instead of straight ahead. There, he says, at their feeder. A red, beautiful object hangs there, made of glass or ceramic, containing some dark liquid. As if by magic, there is, in fact, a minor swarm of hummingbirds. What did you think that was, he says. A hummingbird feeder, I say, of course. Really, though, I thought it was some sort of art. Each time my father calls, I have the impulse to hand off the phone to my then husband, who chafes at all chores categorized as housework, at picking up or dropping off from school our daughter, at anything resembling full-time employment. But he is a man who has bothered, who will continue to bother on behalf of these birds. My father, though, has called to talk to me, so I do what I'm good at. I make things up. There are almost never any birds at the feeder when he calls, but I report them, these invented birds. I craft and deliver their lives, their histories. The yard features birds with flecks of orange on the underside of their wings, and dark red birds who fight each other over the seed, and a nest of baby birds one time to which a large blue-winged mother delivers seed and sometimes worms and sometimes ticks. I have no idea if birds eat ticks. But if I am inventing, dear God or gods, dear Websters, make it so. My father posits various bird names, possibilities based on my bullshit, and I say, yes, I'm sure that's the bird. It goes like this for a good half hour, and then we hang up. But I don't want to bullshit my sister. Not today, not right now. Remember how I used to steal your candy, I say? She says, just candy, and is that right? I did steal her candy, and also her blank notebooks, her clothes, everything really but her shoes, which were and are a full size too small. She was better at caring for things, and so her things lasted longer. Only one of us could make an Easter basket's contents, its peeps and odd pastel M&Ms, last till summer. My sister's best practices for candy longevity included the following. Step 1, tear the M&M mini pack across the top, making a straight, even line. Step 2, select no more than 2 M&Ms, preferably of complementary colors. Step 3, eat said candy through nibbling, through bites so small they would shame any decent mouse. Step 4, seal shut the perfect cut with a straight, perfectly fitted and aligned piece of Scotch tape. Repeat steps 1 through 4 each day until the 4th of July parade, or if possible, till Halloween. A whole package of mini M&Ms is, of course, already so small, impossibly small. My belief then and now is that her behavior was directed toward me, was a form of torture designed to antagonize me, to test my belief systems, which then and now include efficiency and consumption, which include the ripping of a corner jagged, the pouring of all contents into my waiting mouth, where all the little pastel pieces fit like perfect, colorful magic. Once my sister had finished her taping, she bit the heads off 1 or maybe 2 marshmallow peeps and returned their bodies to the package for other days. By the time she'd decapitated her first row of peeps, I had long since emptied my entire basket into myself. And yes, I was side-eyeing hers, finding all the hiding places in the room we shared, the one with an actual piece of masking tape down the center. Which is to say, we are sisters, yes, we actually love each other, but we are not natural friend sisters. We are not of similar natures. We are foreign to each other in essential ways that are equal parts colorful and jagged. 4. In the backyard of this summer, my nephew is with his half-brother at an uncle's house in a wealthy suburb of Denver. These young men are many things. My nephew is a biology student, is Métis and Irish and French and African American, is seldom found in his natural habitat without his laptop and its intricate online world of fantasy games. His brother is a high school student, is of similar descent, minus the Métis, is interested in basketball and travel and the outdoors. But in the language of this, our America, in this, our summer of guns, they are black boys by a private lake. Never mind, they are here to fish, are holding fishing poles. Never mind, they've been invited. The day passes into late afternoon when the baby monitor the uncle has been holding erupts with the sounds of the younger inside children awaking from their naps. He goes to tend them, leaving my nephew and his brother alone to fish. When the neighbor sees them there at the edge of her manicured lawn, waterside, she goes into her house and brings down her gun. She crosses the space of the lawn with it in front of her body in the position we refer to as drawn. As in, how is the scene drawn? Is the light just right? How is the timbre of her voice when she demands to know who they are and what they think they are doing, these boys? Who the fuck are they? Who the fuck? Who the fuck? David, the brother, keeps repeating his name. I'm David, he says. I'm David. His voice? I don't know how to report this. I don't. My nephew stands next to him silent. Here is the thing about my sister's children, my nephew and my niece. If my sister and I's childhood is of the B grade family drama saga variety, her children's includes moments that rival a horror movie, a minor cult leader for a father, all the abuse you can imagine, and some you can't. The curtains in their house were drawn against daylight, against prying eyes, because the world was going to end and their enemies lurked. And don't tell anyone what goes on inside this house, or the bad men will come and the bad men will take you away. But the bad men, of course, were already inside. It's the truth of this violence we call domestic that the bad men are already inside. In the backyard, near the woman and her gun, where the uncle has abandoned it, the baby monitor comes alive. Webster's defines its crackle and hum as salvation. The uncle hears David repeating his name, hears the woman, her who the fucks, and the uncle, the white and of privilege, he loves these boys. He shouts down his neighbor from inside the house. He leaves the house and crosses through the double doors. He crosses the lawn under the late afternoon sky at a run. I am interested in the familial and geographic boundaries of this story, of our language, our storytelling. If the lake is adjacent to, but not located in the uncle's backyard, is this considered a domestic space? How close does a relative have to be in order for a crime to be domestic? Does a domestic violence bullet enter the body and exit differently than a regular bullet? What is an irregular bullet? If the move toward the language of domesticity is a lessening, a demoting of sorts, then what is the language of violence about race? An escalation, a shout to the whisper of the domestic? Don't mistake me. I'm not advocating here for more whispering. We have all of us been quiet too long and at such cost. I'm asking for a shift in language that allows us to consider the intersections between these types of violence we hold separate, to consider them not so much as intersections, as places of sharp corners, but rather as places that exist most often in the actual, in the physical, in the soft bodies of our children, of ourselves. And here is the thing about domestic abusers. They to and fro. They leave their domiciles on the regular. They go to the nightclub in Orlando. They go to the concert in Las Vegas. They go to the elementary school in Newtown. They go to all the places in between. They take down their guns and go. Thank you.